Good morning, everybody. It's all weird coverage I have today. I'll share the slide. Don't show my screen quite yet, Christian, or whoever's running this, or Dave. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We've had some pretty nice news for the markets today. Am I right? That PPI number. Now, today, I'm going to be talking about how you can take advantage of that PPI number, among other things, and not really have a lot of risk. And so we've got some fun things to unpack because there is a lot out there that is really screwy. And is presenting us with some really fun opportunities. And I want to kind of dig into one today. Before that, now we can share my screen. Let's share my screen. And today is the state of the market on September 10th. And I just want to go through a couple of nice wins. We've had capital gains in you. Had to be you. Couldn't be me. It had to be you. Nice little 46% gain. Alpha AI showing its teeth. Now, I was out on Friday and Monday, but one of the names that hit the scanner was ASST. That's Alpha AI. Now, I didn't put out a trade in it because, again, I was out. But a bunch of people saw it on Alpha AI and took trades. And a lot of people took 100%, and they're going, "Oh, I would have been doing so much better if I'd have hung on." Folks, never be upset with a 100%. Once a trade is closed, move on. And then Turbo Income was talking about NBIS for a while. We've done trades in and out of it. Another just massive win. But just kind of circling back on ASST, I just want to show you what it's doing today. SPAI is another Alpha AI trade. We got in around $6. ASST is up $5.75, trading $12. when Alpha AI started talking about trades in this, $4.50. So it's starting to really show its teeth, and it's pretty exciting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So awesome. Now, what I want to talk to is a theme that I have been discussing in my paid letters. Cheaton wants to know, should I close ASST? And what I would say is you're probably in for what, 80 cents, 75 cents, and your calls are $7. Yeah, I would be looking to take my money. 1,000% is pretty nice. I'll take 800%, frankly. So congratulations, Cheaton. Let me know what your sell price was and what you ended up making. But I'm really happy that Alpha AI is showing its teeth and putting traders in a position to win. With, right now we're in kind of I was telling my traders yesterday in Alpha AI, we're kind of in the driver's ed phase of using Alpha AI. You're in the driver's seat, you're driving, but I'm in the passenger seat as your driver's ed instructor. Our goal for all of our Alpha AI people is to, just like my son, I'm teaching how to drive right now. Someday I'm going to wave goodbye to him, and he's going to hop in the car and drive to high school or to go pick up a girl and, or go to practice. And I'll get a little misty in the eye. So same way I'm going to feel about you Alpha AI traders. Okay. So looking at the news today, PPI, which is the producer price index, came out today. The index came in light. They're looking for 0.3, came in negative 0.1, and the core PPI came in at a 0.3 in line. Year over year, 2.6, core 2.8. Wholesale inventory is down a touch. So, pretty positive news. Now, I've been making a pretty consistent theme here, and I want to show you the letter I wrote to Delta Strike today. This went out to my Delta Strikers this morning, but it's a point that I've been making for some time. There's our boy Larry. Every day I give a AI generated image. There's Larry Ellison saying it's good to me. Then I talked about how CPI and PPI moved the markets really strongly back in August. And I said, well, I'm sure markets have learned their lesson, right? All right, well, the SPX is up 40. And it is up 40. And that is with CPI still heading our way tomorrow morning. And I pointed out that you could buy the end of the day September 11th calls or strangle for less than $44. Call it $44. I want you to think about that. And you're saying, Mark, what's a straddle? I'm going to explain that in a second. But put it this way. Anybody here, option trading is not gambling, but straddles have a lot in common with playing over-unders in football games, baseball games, basketball games, right? So, the Eagles versus Dallas game from Thursday had an over-under of, I think, 48 points. So that means if Dallas and the Eagles and Philadelphia total points adds up to more than 48, I win. And if the total points adds up to less than 48, I lose. So here's a scenario. Philadelphia scores 24. Dallas scores 20. The over-under is 48. Did I win that over-under play if I bet it? Do I win if the over-under is 48 and Philadelphia scores 24 and Dallas scores 20? No, it's the under. So what I want you to think about with straddles and strangles is this over-under concept. So yesterday, the over-under on the next 2 days move from 65.20 was $44. William wants to know, does that work with baseball? Yes, they have over-unders in baseball. Hello from London, Gordon C. So right now, the S&P 500 is trading 65.53. 33 bucks from that 65.20 that I was looking at. And right, these don't expire to tomorrow, but I could sell my quote unquote over under play early and collect $740. So what makes up that over under? All right, well, if yesterday I bought a 65.20 call, I'd have paid $23. That means I need the market to rally from 65.20 at least $23. If it does that, then I win. Well, we've definitely done that. And if I bought a put for $21, that would mean I would need the market to drop $21 from 65.20. Well, I'd be losing that one. So the over-under is saying, well, I don't think calls are going to win. Or it's basically saying, I don't know if the puts are going to win. I don't know if the calls are going to win. But we're going to see more scoring, in this case, more moving than what the market is pricing in. And that answer is coming at a solid yes. If I'd done that trade yesterday, I'd be up $760 on a one lot of SPX. About over 17%. Now you're saying, Mark, 17% doesn't sound like a lot. Except, what is different about this 17% than making 17% on a call or 17% on a put? What's the difference there? Blick says insurance. Nina says this is from option mispricing. Well, you're not wrong, Nina. Well, the answer is I didn't have a directional opinion. It's not easy money. but it is relatively safe money. So here's the thing. I've not taken a directional opinion here. I've not taken a directional opinion. I didn't need to know the direction. That's the beautiful part. All right. Well, and you're saying, Mark, $4,400 in order to do this play? Oh, this is why SIBO invented XSP. XSP is the same thing as SPX. The only difference is that it is 1/10 the size. So instead of $23, I'm paying $2.30. And instead of $21, I'm paying $2.10. So I'm betting $400 now. And now I'm up $80. Almost 20% overnight. And I never had any directional risk. So let's take an example of one from let's look at an example from 0DTE. Now, I have started testing this strategy in 0DTE. And I want to go to my way back machine. We're going back all the way. Going back all the way to September 5th. You know, we got this big down day. All right. I put out this fun little alert. Beta test trade, buy to open, XSP. 646, 647 strangle, expiring on September 5th. So this was on the 4th that I put it out. Let's take a look. Here we are on the 4th. And what is really neat about this is that I went into, because I want to show you. So if I bought on the 4th in the morning for $4 and $4.10, I want to show you where my 647 calls ended up. So the September 5th, 647 calls. They closed the day worth $4.50. They closed the day worth $7, worth $4.50. Remember what I paid for that strangle? I paid $4.10. Now, if I buy the 646 puts and the 647 calls, essentially a straddle. This is a strangle. It's just slightly different. And at the end of the day, the 647 calls are $4.50. What do you think I'm doing with my 647 calls? And this is where the teeth of this strategy can be so powerful. Right, I'm going to sell it. All right, now, on Friday, we closed at 648.15. And those 646 calls went out worthless, except if you sold them. Why? What was the low on the 5th? The low was 644.40. James wants to know if that was a Fed day. That was non-farm payrolls last Thursday and Friday. Again, except if you didn't hold to the end of the day, which you don't need to do. At a low of 644.40, even if I sold these at just, what their intrinsic value was. Intrinsic value is what they'd be worth if they expire right now. So, for instance, a stock is trading $51. The $50 call have $1 of intrinsic value. However, we know on these lows there was still some value. Got to trade that strangle at $2. So let's get this straight. I paid $4.50, or I paid $4.10. I sold my calls at $4.50, and I sold my puts at $2. What was my return on this? It's rhetorical. 58%. 58% for a position that made money whether the market went up or down. And going into non-farm payrolls, I basically owned a free put. So remember, I sold those calls at the end of the day on the 4th at $4.50. Could I have gotten more? Yeah. If I'd have sold on the open, I would have gotten like close to 7. $6.50. And we'd be talking about getting over 100% on this trade. But instead, I sold my calls at the end of the day on the 4th. Now, what happens if I'd come in? Non-farm payrolls is, I don't know what would have driven one way or the other. But non-farm payrolls are bad, and we're down 200 points. Now I'm talking about, multi triple-digit winner there. And you're saying, Mark, why are you showing us this? Well, one, this has been a consistent pattern in event trading. Options have been underpriced into every event in the last 6 months. Not every, but almost every. Almost every. Now, this time next week, are we going to be waiting on a... Are we going to be waiting on a big event. Shane says FOMC. Blix says yes. JKS, interest rates. Blix, Fed rates, yes. Michael, movie, big smile. All right, so what do you do about it? All right, so what we're looking at is a version of what Andrew likes to call a two-way trade. Andrew likes to look at a two-way trade. And this is kind of that. Now, Andrew puts a little bit of a different spin on it, and it provides a little more consistency and doesn't need these events. It's a lot more consistent than what I'm doing here. And two-way trades are like perfect for what is going to happen with the Fed. This is a tradable pattern, and Andrew's kind of unlocked it. So what do? You join Andrew. And the way you can do that is by clicking the link above and get it on the next two-way trade that is heading our way with the next Fed meeting. So if you are not doing these two-way trades, you are leaving a lot of opportunity of a lot of low. What I love about it is it's low risk. You're leaving a lot of low risk opportunity on the table. So click the link or give my team a call, 888-872-3301. And take advantage of these two-way trades. Now, we're going to be live on the FOMC, and you're going to get to see kind of Andrew going through his process of closing some of these. All right. There you have it, folks. If you are not trading these two-way trades, you need to change it or give my team a call, 888-872-3301. All right, folks. Hope the big takeaways today, those over-unders on the option markets are not pricing themselves. You can get really nice returns without directional risk. And the way to trade the Fed, two-way trades. Click the link, give my team a call, 888-872-3301, or email us support@optionpit.com. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful trading day. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. I'll see you guys soon.